Hello everyone and welcome back to Esports Talk Show, CSGO News episode. I hope you guys all enjoy. I've been gone for the past 4 to 5 days. Really wanted to be back, and as you probably can tell, have lost my voice just a little bit. So I might be a bit quieter today, but as I was gone, we missed a lot of CSGO news, and I apologize again for my voice. It'll be back in a couple days, but again, I cannot help it because we missed so much news out there. The first of which revolving all around FaZe Clan. If you guys have been following the team ever since post-major, it's been Karrigan with several mental issues, even taking to Twitter to talk about his lack of confidence. And thanks to Ryan, guys, uncovering a great interview out there. Everything will be linked down below as well. It's actually Karrigan coming forward and saying a bit more of his issues out there, and potentially it was actually last weekend, guys. We had Blast Pro Series Copenhagen. FaZe Clan placed 4th place there, where apparently Karrigan did state in this interview it could have been his last tournament. Now, I'm sure many of you guys are aware IEM Chicago currently going on. Karrigan is still on the roster, but it does open the question, as he also in the interview did say, within the next 3 weeks, it could actually, configure his future with this roster, if he actually will stay or if he will not. And also, if you look at this interview in full detail, which I really do recommend you guys do, you can just simply translate that. He does say some very concerning things as well, in terms of when he lost his confidence. Something he really cannot do as an IGL, and after that major, it was something that really took away that confidence. On top of that, though, if he does not perform well, it could be his head that is cut off. And again, that kind of serious line really probably brings in a notion. If you guys have been checking his Twitter responses, there's a bunch of people out there really giving this guy a lot of crap because, of course, if you're a diehard FaZe Clan fan and of course their IGL is not doing well, you take the heat on him, and it really kind of shows you guys what an IGL does go through. As of right now, currently though, FaZe Clan not doing too poorly. They face off against Astralis today in IEM Chicago. Going to be a great event which concludes this weekend. And on top of that, though, it brings into question, if he were to somehow go away, who would replace this guy? Would they bring in a guy like a Dren? Would they bring back a guy like Kiyoshima? There are certainly plenty of free agents out there, plenty of offers on the table if he does not perform well. And again, with ECS finals, EPL finals right around the corner, if there are any changes that are going to happen, like he said, it will be in the next few weeks if he cannot perform up to par. Now, speaking of performance out there, guys, an immaculate performance coming out of a team which I did talk about just barely last week on my personal channel, and that was actually fREAKAZOiD, who brought us one of the most emotional clips I've ever seen in CSGO. And I'm not choking up, I'm just losing my voice here, but if you guys do remember, it was actually Cooper, his younger brother, who joined the Swole Patrol roster nearly a year ago, just over a year ago, and they rose together through the Mountain Dew League ranks. They went 8-0 together. Their ultimate goal, of course, this season to make Pro League. And it was actually Cooper who signed last week with E United, and here is fREAKAZOiD's response to that.
I hope you understand, because you literally a year's hard work I've put into this shit, trying to build you up, and I told you I was happy 3 to 4 weeks ago, but you the team, because we have a playoffs in 1 to 2 weeks. We're trying to go to pro, and you us, and you know it too. That's why I'm pissed. Only he's gonna understand, and he knows that's not a brotherly move. A brotherly move is you either make that decision right away or you don't. You need to be a man there. I told you, I understood if you wanted money, I would have helped you out. I told you if you wanted to take the contract, I would have helped you out. But instead, you chose us 3 to 4 weeks ago because people are in your ear, rather than taking that risk. And that's what life's about. We could have done it together. We could have created history. But instead, you got greedy. You got scared. But you don't think in a month from now, even if we didn't make pro, you don't think a month after that, you could have left the team and somebody wouldn't have offered you? Come on, bro. You have so much talent. You know that too. You have the hard work. You have the dedication, and I would have helped you out no matter what. I'm always by your side. But when you did that shit, come on, man. You me out of my dream, and you me out of this season.
And following this, I even touched on this, of course, Cooper, one of their better talents, I think alongside Ryan, probably 2 of their better players. And of course, replacing him on that roster was not going to be an easy thing. They have now won 10 of their last 11 games, guys. They placed #1 in North America. And to kind of construe all confusion out there, because when it comes to Mountain Dew League, this is not a very easy process to understand. It took some time to actually understand it as well. They do go #1 in North America. They will make the top 8 for North America, which does mean you're basically in playoffs. But if you guys look at the 8 teams they compete against, besides teams like Space Station, some teams you really don't know, there are still well-notable names out there. Old Guys crew also made it. Singularity, the former Danish team, now obviously North America. On top of that, of course, you cannot forget about Bravado Gaming. This is going to be a very tough playoff bracket, because not only is it a single elimination, it's also single elimination best of 3s. And on top of that, only the top 3 teams of those top 8 for each region, North America and Europe, actually have a chance to qualify for EPL next season. So if it does stand as is, so current EPL standings, guys, of course, we have one more week left, so some things could be changing. Obviously not likely. It should be Envious' spot up for grabs. Now, the number one team in North America, and this also goes over to the European side of things as well, the number one team for North America who actually wins these playoffs will automatically take that EPL spot from Envious. If it is, of course, as current standings do exist, it will be Envious automatically being relegated down to ESEA Premier, or that being Mountain Dew League. So a big oof from that roster so far. We'll see if they make their changes. And on top of that, though, it'll be your number 2 and number 3 Mountain Dew League teams competing for those bottom 2 spots besides Envious, that being currently Rogue and Luminosity Gaming. LG has had a really tough season so far in both EPL as well as ECS. That roster had a huge fall off, but that would be as it is as it stands. So it does seem that Swole Patrol, of course, going 18-1, they have a very good chance to compete for an EPL spot. Of course, 2 seasons ago, a little bit of flashback, they failed to do so. This time, they may not fail. And if they do, comes, of course, the huge question. Like fREAKAZoiD's said, if you guys want the long full clip, I'll try and find and link it down below for all of you. He did say he'll, of course, try his best to qualify this team for EPL. That, of course, is his dream goal. But if he does, he might still quit the team. I imagine, though, if they actually do qualify and make Pro League, that might actually change his answer. But what do I know? That could be a potential changing factor for fREAKAZoiD's future. And also in terms of free agents and some roster changes, we did miss actually Byali now, as expected, is now a free agent from Virtus Pro's roster. The future of that current roster, we have no idea, but it's Byali having some success away from the roster itself. His mixed team has actually qualified for the closed minor qualifiers so far. We'll talk more in the future about what teams have qualified as well on top of that for both Europe and North America as we approach those closed minors. And again, when you look at the European side, I can't imagine Byali's team actually making it through to the minor, but it's definitely a possibility. On top of that, though, of course, other roster changes, guys, is actually Bondik being benched by HR and apparently going to be picking up Hobbit. According to many sources out there, we have Ryan, we have Nell. It does seem very likely Hobbit from the Gambit roster will go and join HR's roster, which I think would be an improvement. But Bondik, of course, has many offers out there, I'm sure, on the table. And of course, very lastly, guys, it's actually, speaking of Gambit, they have now added Dimasick to that roster as well. We still have a Dren, though, and Mo also on free agency. That's a roster out there that I really can, it's tough to actually see where their future is going. Half the roster free agents, one of the members being signed away, 2 newer members now with Dimasick joining the roster as well. We're going to see where this roster goes. But speaking very lastly in CSGO news, and again, I do one more time apologize, guys. Hopefully in about a day or two, and definitely next week, my voice will be back here. I'm definitely struggling. In our last story, it's all about Syman Gaming. If you guys remember for the DreamHack Winter qualifiers, the DreamHack Winter Masters qualifiers, it was actually Syman Gaming out of nowhere, beating teams Vitality, LDLC, also AGO and Spaceholders, and no one knew how. There were very many sketchy clips out there of one player known as iDisbalance. And apparently, though, iDisbalance for about an hour time was actually banned on Faceit for ban evasion, and then an hour later, that ban was then taken away. Syman Gaming tweeting about this, Don Hossie tweeting about this. I have no idea where this even came from. If Faceit saw something, they were just like, ban him, and then all of a sudden, never mind. But to be quite honest, there could not be a better instance to actually add to the drama. As of right now, I mean, of course, Syman, it seems like a troll. You look at his profile as well with iDisbalance, he is definitely living up to the meme material here, but it definitely adds to the controversy. These guys are apparently competing, though, in other qualifiers with that roster. Alongside that, part of their team is also competing with, speaking of Gambit guys, Mo and Adren and those guys are also competing with some of these players, so they must think that at least part of the roster is legit. It seems that all the controversy around this revolves around one player, iDisbalance. Will we ever see this guy on land, though, and will he become kind of the new Doc, is what my hope is. But as always, hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you all for being here. Seriously, we have now risen to 7,500 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. We haven't even had a video out in the past 4 to 5 days. So thank you all so much. If you guys want to leave a comment down below today, I'd love to respond to you guys, and I will see you hopefully back here tomorrow with more of a voice. But until then, my name is Jake, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.